Welcome back to High Mileage Need Love 2, and I just got another high mileage beauty. Special episode today. I got two scooters behind me. I picked this bike up 4 years ago from a Copart auction for $300, and it's got a salvage title. I never bothered going through New York State salvage inspection, so it's just been sitting. My wife's been begging me to get rid of it, and just today, a friend of mine was getting rid of this 2006 LX 150 Vespa, and he gave it to me for free, provided I can get it up and running. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking the parts off of this bike, which runs and drives, it only needs a battery, and throwing them on this Vespa, which has not been started since 2013. So I'm working around this ant colony because they have colonized my old Piaggio, and I may just have to rinse this off, unfortunately. So I'm just checking the top of the carburetor, make sure the spring is there and all is good. Then I proceed to pull a couple of nuts and bolts off of the Fly 150 and add them to the LX 150 for keeping on trim pieces and whatnot. So this is the current situation. I'm just emptying out the old gas. As you can see, it's about 7 years old. I took the carb out and I cleaned the bowl and the main jet, and hopefully with some fresh gas this thing will be up and running. I'm also going to pull out the filter and just make sure it's clean, put some fresh oil on there, and hopefully we can get this running before sunset. So here I have the Vespa with some jumper cables because the battery was completely dead, attached to my BMW, and I'm just trying to find a way to get it started. I had drained the gas, I put fresh gas in, and I slightly cleaned up the carburetor, and now I'm just attempting a startup. Okay, so I wasn't able to get it running because the carburetor is dirty. I cleaned it up somewhat, but today I'm going to take it apart and I'm going to clean all the jets and get it spotless. So the way we do that is we undo this hose clamp right here, this hose clamp right there. I'm going to take these two hoses off. This is to the cylinder, and that's to the intake. Then you have a banjo. Not a banjo, but the throttle cable here. What you want to do is you want to twist this and remove it, and then undo this this nut, pull this throttle cable out, and then you can pull the whole assembly. For the throttle, the cable goes in here. You want to twist it, undo the cable, undo the nut that goes there, and take that off. Then what you want to do is you're going to have these two cables for the automatic choke. They go into this sleeve. What you want to do is you want to feed the cable through the sleeve so that you don't tear it. And you've got these two clips, one male, one female. You push down the tab. Using two hands, this will be a lot easier. And undo these clips. So you push the tab and you pull it out. So here's everything you're going to need. Obviously you want to take your carburetor out. I pulled the air box as well so I can take the filter out, clean it, wash it, and re-oil it. Just a set of screwdrivers. You could use an impact gun in case something is really tight, but you shouldn't have to because you don't want to strip any of these screws. And some throttle body cleaner or carburetor cleaner. It's all the same thing. And let's get to work. So for starters, we want to open up the bowl and that's 4 screws on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're pulling the bowl off, you might run into just a little bit of difficulty with this right here. You just gotta finagle it a little bit so that it comes out. So this knob here is your accelerator, and when you press it, it should shoot up a little bit of gas, as you can see, right out of that thing. So this will have a boot on it, as well as one of these clips. However, with the heat from the engine, the boot will more than usually melt and cause this issue. What you want to do is you want to clean it off with some carb cleaner and then lubricate it. Okay, so I pulled out the accelerator, and you can see that there's tons of varnish on this too, so it'll be good to clean it up and then reinstall. Moving on, looking at your carburetor from engine side, intake side, you have this jet, your slow jet, and your main jet. You want to clean these holes, and you want to take out these jets and clean them properly. Make sure you count the turns it takes to undo this, so that when you put it back in, it's the same amount of turns, and that you're not having any surging or lack of acceleration issues. It's also good to mark down how many turns it took to take the jets out and place them accordingly. So I have 5.5 for the main and 4.5 for the slow. So once you have the jets out, you can tell they're clogged if you try and look through them and you can't see light. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your can of throttle body cleaner, stick the straw through the hole, and clean it until light passes through, and then clean the exterior, clean these side holes as well until it looks a lot better. And you'll do the same with this one, as well as this. This is not removable, so you'll stick the straw onto this and blow it out until it's clear. You can also try to get some of the varnish off the float and other sections of the carburetor. This took a few sprays. Just shove the straw in there, wear a mask or hold your breath, and just spray it until it comes out. Do both sides, and then blow it with some compressed air. I have a can of compressed air that I use. Flow jet is giving me some difficulty, so what I did was I took one of these out of these, like this twist tie, and I'm cleaning the port with it very gently as to not bore it out any larger than it can be. And you can see that I am getting some varnish on this thing. So hopefully I can clear some of it out and then blow it again with the throttle body cleaner to get the remainder. So this smaller jet took some doing, but you can see that fine hole in there. And it took a couple of cycles of air, throttle body cleaner, air, carb cleaner, air, carb cleaner. I also let it sit in some seafoam for about 10 minutes, and then I cycled it again until eventually it blew clear. So now we're going to reassemble the carb and see if we can get this Vespa running. So as you can see, I finally got the Vespa running, and while it took a little bit more than I originally expected it to, I am still well below what it would have cost me to buy one on the secondhand marketplace. So even after cleaning the carb like I did, it still wouldn't start. I went ahead and contacted the people over at Scooter Parts Company, and they told me that it could be the immobilizer. So I went ahead and I bought an immobilizer and key set, and when that finally arrived in the mail, I installed it, and it would only start with ether and would run at full throttle only. This led me to believe that my carburetor was no good. So what I did was I pulled the carburetor off of my Fly 150 and I installed it into this Vespa, and I finally got it running. So this is me working through the night to remove the carburetor that I cleaned so diligently and replace with the Fly 150 carburetor that I pulled from my parts scooter. So once I had it running and I knew it was a viable project, I figured I would reach out to Scooter Parts again and order a few more parts. So first thing I ordered was the badge for the horn cast. I also resprayed the horn cast black because it had a couple of scratches on it. I installed two LED bulbs in the running lights. I bought the immobilizer and key set and installed those. I purchased the glove box, which originally came blue, so I didn't have the silver paint to make it match the rest of the Vespa, so I just painted it black. I'm also getting an inspection cover that I'm going to be painting black as well. I installed a battery, a new tumbler for the rear seat. I repainted the trim on the back of the Vespa on the side cowls. I ordered a cover for the engine or the transmission cover. I'm going to be getting some brakes. Not that it really needs it, but I will be bleeding and replacing the brakes. It's got an aftermarket exhaust. I repainted it on this side. I added those sexy saddlebags, and that's about it. A couple of clips, the ignition clip, so that the tumbler wouldn't fall out. A couple of screws to hold this back piece on, and last but not least was the Vespa badge, and I think it came together really nicely. The black really contrasts the rest of the scooter, and everything looks pretty sweet. Okay, here's the part where it gets awesome. So let's do a cost analysis of what this scooter ran me. I didn't pay anything for the scooter itself, so we'll start at zero. My part scooter was $300, so we'll just bump that up to $300. The immobilizer and key set cost me $130, bringing the total to $430. I ordered the glove box cover, the screws, a few engine clips, an engine oil filter, and the badges, and those ran me $80. So now we're looking at $510. Then I'm going to be getting the inspection cover, which I believe is $25. So it's $535, and $60 for the mirror will bring me up to $595. So just under $600 for a running, driving, somewhat modified LX150. I find it to be an awesome deal, and I'm more than happy to use this scooter for as long as it's going to keep running. How I acquired the scooter is a funny story. I originally sold a car to this gentleman by the name of Joe and his wife Paulette back when I was in sales over at the dealership, and we maintained a really good friendship over the years. I've known him for about 5 years now. I've always been in contact. Whenever he'd come to the dealership, we'd always hit it off, and he's just a genuinely great guy. Everybody loves him, and for really good reasons. I'm thankful that I have met him. And his son got this scooter. They found it. It had been stolen and left not too far away from their house. So his son had brought it home, and Joe contacted one of his buddies that are in law enforcement. They were able to run the VIN and find who the owner was. Joe reached out to the owner, told him he had the Vespa. The owner said, "Oh, that's great. I already bought a new one. You can have it. I'll mail you the title and the keys." And he mailed Joe the title and the keys. Joe's son, unfortunately, never had a chance to put it back together, just didn't have enough time, and it sat in his shed for 7-8 years, and that's when I got a hold of it. So Joe told me that I can have it, provided I can get it running, and so I did. It's a project of love. I love Vespas. I love working on them. This thing's got 15,962 miles right now. I'm hoping to take it up to 25,000 miles, possibly more. We'll see. But I just want to give Joe a big thank you. I appreciate it. I hope you're watching this video right now and you're happy with the result. I want to thank you guys. If you've made it this far into the video, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you have any questions about the LX150s or any questions in general. I do my best to answer everybody. Check out the Patreon if you feel like donating. And last but not least, thank you. I've just reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm very grateful. Thank you everybody that takes a second to like, a minute to leave a comment, and just subscribes because they're interested in what I produce. That's all. Hope you enjoyed the video. Any suggestions on future videos, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys next time. Remember that high mileage beauties like this one need love too.